Hey guys, so as you can see from the title of this video, my opinion about dating while being in a wheelchair. Yeah, that's what this video is going to be about. First I'm just gonna tell you like my opinion, and then I'm gonna tell you my experiences with it. So I wrote it down on the paper because it took me a while to get all my thoughts together and how I felt, and put all immature and childish like thoughts or whatever aside and come to a mature like understanding with this whole situation and myself. So I'm going to be reading this. I just wrote like the main points down, so I'll look down, say the main point, and look like at the camera to tell you and specify. So to be truthful, it sucks and it hurts. Guys don't really look at you in like a dating way. They like automatically friend zone you because that's just how their brain works, I guess. They usually do this for multiple reasons. These are not in any specific order, just as they came to thought. They see the wheelchair and they think hard work. Like, oh, I'm gonna have to do this, I'm gonna have to change this. And it's not really the case, because I'm not saying that all people in wheelchairs is not hard, because trust me, some are. But I'm saying it's usually really not as hard as you think that it's gonna be. They see wheelchair and wait, I already read that. Oh, they see your chair and they think wheelchair bound. Like, oh, she can't get up, she can't move. I mean, some people can walk when they're in a wheelchair. They just usually depend on the wheelchair a lot more. Or she can't move her legs, she's paralyzed, things like that. Not really thinking that some people just need the wheelchair because they like can't. It's hard for them to walk. It's hard for them to do certain things. They think with their head down there instead of their head up here, and which is dumb because most people in wheelchairs can actually participate. I know that from experience, but I'm just saying they think about that instead of, oh, well, she's a really sweet person, blah blah, I should get to know her because maybe she can do those things. Maybe she can participate in those things. And if they do think about the future, it's negative things like, oh, she can't have kids. She can't do this. We won't be able to do that. This is gonna be hard. Things like that. Not thinking to themselves, wow, I should give her a chance because she's a really sweet person and I'd love to have children with this beautiful, smart, spontaneous person in the future. Now, I'm going to tell you my personal experiences with dating. They've been horrible. No guy ever gives you the chance, and if they do give me the chance, it's for the wrong reasons. Like, oh, I just want a friends with benefit, or we're super long distance, I don't have to really deal with you, so sure, we can date, but it's not a real relationship. Probably no one knows about that relationship. People usually your friends, mostly family, tell you that, oh, you're so beautiful, you're drop dead gorgeous, this is nice about you, this you're so beautiful, you're amazing. But then I'm still wondering why I'm still single, why no one's dating me, why no one's flirting with me, why no one has a crush on me, why no one's giving me the chance. And that makes it even harder because it's like, well, are they lying to me? Am I really not beautiful? Am I not this? Because the reality is, your mind always goes back to the way you look. Not, oh, I'm such a funny person, I get told I'm funny all the time, I get told that, I'm smart, that I'm intelligent, that I'm like have intellectual conversations with people. I think that all the time, but I'm like, is it just about looks? Which usually it is, and well, that's just like the sad part about it. no one has ever asked me to homecoming or prom. I've always went with my friends that are girls, and I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. And usually at proms, they play the slow songs, and you're supposed to dance with your significant other, and I just sit there like, cool, just waiting for the fast songs to come back so I can dance with everyone. And people are like, oh, well, why not dance with your friends that you came with? And because maybe that's not what I want to do. Maybe I want to dance with a boy, or have the boy have a crush on me, or ask me to prom in a cute way with poster boards and his friends or whatever, and say prom yes or no. Like, maybe I want those things. But in my case, you usually don't get them because the excuse is always boys your age are immature, which shouldn't really be an excuse because it's their personality, it's their being, they should know. No one's ever had a crush on me, like I said, unless they were like 5 years old, and it's like, oh, you're like my babysitter, I have a crush on you. But usually that doesn't even happen. I ask myself at least 5 times a day, why I'm single. Will anyone ever love me? Will anyone ever want to be with me in a relationship? I cry at least 4 times a month. Not like, oh, 1 or 2 tears. No, like bawling my eyes out, sitting on my bedroom floor, either my face down in the carpet or just sitting there, leaning against my bed, screaming because I'm angry at the fact that I don't know why. Angry at the fact that I would love to be like a normal high school girl that has a 1 to 3 month relationship. Because at least someone cared about me at one point. At least someone loved me at one point. That's just like what I would love to happen. But it doesn't. I'm like, I just sit there and I listen to sad music, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, I'm alone, all this heartbreak. And it's not even like one person that breaks my heart. It's like everyone like breaks my heart because I'm still alone and still single at the end of the day. And I know that people are like, oh, well, you're so young, you have your whole life ahead of you, but they also don't understand that I just want to have a normal high school girl breakup relationship, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter to me because you're gonna need those relationships for when you go out as an adult. You're gonna need to know trust, everything like that. But people don't understand that. They're like, oh, when you get older, someone will want to be with you, or you'll meet someone in college. And that's not always the case. There's actually people that, when they are 30 years old, still have no one. Now, I'm not saying if you're in a wheelchair that you'll never be with anyone, because I've seen a lot of people, usually they're like people who speak to other people, like, and like conventions or whatever, but they have a relationship with someone and they're together. So I'm not completely saying that it's impossible. I'm just saying it's really hard and it really hurts. And it's really sad because even though you're like, oh, well, it's just a relationship, it's not that big of a deal, it's just boys, it's just guys. At the end of the day, you always come back to the thought of, why does no one look at me in that way? Why does no one think about me like that? Does anyone? And people, there's all different ways to try to meet people, try to date people. There's whether they go to your school, whether they don't, whether it's online. Believe me, I've tried everything. I've tried online dating. It doesn't work. Because A, you can either be blunt with them and tell them at the beginning, this is my situation. And then it's usually like they unmatch you, or they do something like, oh, okay, well, I'm not really cut out for that. I can't handle that right now. And then you just stop talking to the person. Or, like people like to say, people don't date for looks, they date for personality. So you try that and you talk to them, you get to know them, you think everything's going great, and you're like, well, I think that we're getting along really well. I think it's time that I'm honest. And, or I think that I should tell you something because I want to be honest with you. You tell them, and they're like, oh. And then they're just really skeptical about the rest of it. And it's like, oh, okay, I thought we were getting along really well, didn't know that this was gonna hinder our future relationship or whatever. And that's just how it is. People either don't want to give you the time or they're just half in it, usually not even in it. And that's the sad part. And I try not to get hurt by it, but obviously it's gonna hurt because every single day, at least 5 times a day, I think to myself and I ask myself, why am I single? Why does no one ever crush on me? Why does this happen? Why am I the way I am? I don't understand this. I don't understand that. And at least 4 times a month, I cry on my bedroom floor and do what I told you that I do. Sit there, cry, listen to sad music, and wonder why these things don't happen to me. Why I don't get asked to prom. Why I never had the beautiful, wonderful feeling of finding out that someone has a crush on me that I could possibly actually like back. I'll never know. I mean, can anyone ever tell me? I